if companies like BP and Exxon and all that weren't doing that type of stuff. They weren't hiring people to set these people up to get intelligence and trying to give sort of back deals to local cops, local private eyes, whatever, to get information to possibly set these up to try and encourage people to break the law and therefore give the police an excuse, the local police an excuse to swoop in and say, right, Sonny, you've broke the law, you're getting cuffed and you're getting taken away. So I would be surprised if companies wouldn't do that. I really would be surprised. And use whatever legal powers, legal strings they can pull, and political strings they can pull to say, look, these people are a threat to, excuse me, these people are a threat to our business, but they're also a threat to the security of this town or this city and this area's ability to continue on, and the citizens of that living in that area will be complaining that they can't go to work and they feel unsafe sending their kids to school because there's going to be a protest there and hooligans and all. They'll use any strings they can possibly pull at whatever levels they can possibly pull to continue their business. That's just a business expense for them.
Yeah, I think it's being done to an extent now with WikiLeaks. I mean, first of all, one article I read today was about, actually there was an interview with a journalist from Sweden, and he was discussing it. He was trying to explain to a journalist, I think from Russia Today, why it's very extremely not honorable to try and pass new laws or to try to find something to convict a person with for something else just because the person happens to have done something which a person in power does not like. So in some cases, when a person is doing something objectionable from the point of view of one person but not actually illegal, there might be an attempt to fit onto that person some kind of burden or some kind of a conviction of some sort to either dismiss the person or to get the person isolated or afraid or basically not to be involved anymore. One of the things that happened with WikiLeaks is they reported to have been infiltrated by people who pretended to want to help, who are in fact just gathering intelligence from the inside and trying to see the inner workings of maybe even getting documents encrypted and getting codes and things like that to documents which WikiLeaks was working on. So of course they can have actually, given this intelligence, they can try to derail the efforts of this group. And then, of course, there was the request for information from Twitter about several people who were involved and had volunteered for the WikiLeaks project. So, especially in one case, it was a member of parliament from Iceland. And this is what made lots of headlines at the time.
Yeah, I mean, given that these industries and these politicians and journalists all sort of work in concert with each other to all sell the same thing, and they all blatantly lie to lie in court cases, they lie in parliaments all around the world to try and to pass off paid analysts' opinions and figures that support their cause. They know they're lying through their teeth. They know they're misrepresenting it. But they can do that without losing any sleep at all. They've got a whole industry set up to do that, and they have no problems doing that. I mean, that to me suggests that they will do anything. It's the whole thing of there's a lot of people making a lot of money, and anything that even remotely threatens to derail that by bringing fairness and logic and balance into the equation is a direct threat. And they will be dealt with the same mechanisms that they've already got. They'll have company representatives, lawyers, who phone up their mates, the politicians who they know on first name basis. You want to go for a wee coffee there? We'll meet you at lunchtime. Well, I'm really busy this lunchtime. Oh, you can drop that for me. You can see me. Remember all the business we've done together. Oh, right enough. Okay. And they turn up and they get fed this line that all these bullshit facts to help sell the case. I mean, they're all scratching each other's backs essentially, and they're all less critical than they should be. The people who are making the political decisions, the actual go decisions on a lot of these things, whether it's the police inspector getting handed a bunch of supposedly evidence to say go and arrest these 5 people, they're looking at that and they're encouraged to look at that less critically, and favour the status quo, essentially. If it's a judge, it's the same thing. You know, it's like papers put in front of them that suggest X, Y, and Z, and they're encouraged to just rubber stamp it, essentially. Or when it's the politicians, when they get their mates coming in, lobbyists and all of that, and other politicians who are also arguing the same thing, because they've got some directorship deal with a company when they retire, and shares in a company when they retire. So they're all encouraged to keep the status quo going, and anything that threatens that is a threat.
If I can just make a comment, I've arrived back now, and I hope it's not too off the mark, because I was wanting to comment on the Mr. H.B. Gary case, anonymous, and the involvement there, and the leaking of his information. I mean, I've got pretty strong views on this. For me personally, any individual that seeks to, I don't like using the word infiltrate because it gives them a bit more kudos than they deserve, but any individual that gets involved with a group with the intention to collect evidence, profile, whatever, I think is despicable. To me, it's nothing better than the con. If you're leading people to believe that you are one thing and not another, then that to me is a deception. It's a bit like the chap who knocks at your front door and offers to do you drive for £100. You pay them £100 and they run off with your money. It's that type of thing. It's confidence trickster. It's very low. However, there is one comment I wanted to make in the case of Anonymous, and I'm not in control of the facts, and I don't know what has actually gone on here. I've read a very watered down report by the BBC. I read the link that Roy linked to one of his dents. And one thing that worries me or concerns me slightly, now Anonymous have said that when they've got hold of these emails that belong to Mr. Barr, that's named some individuals which are sort of the figureheads or the heads of Anonymous, and these names are completely wrong. Now, I've got no reason to doubt these people's word. That might very well be true, but if that is true, then to me what Anonymous have done to reveal those names to the public really is no better than what Mr. Barr has been involved with or alleged to be involved with in the group. Here you have potentially 5 innocent people who, according to Anonymous, have nothing to do with the group, yet Anonymous has still released their names to the public. So now you have a situation where possibly the FBI might be interested in these 5 individuals, and also their details now, and any chance of privacy after they've displayed their innocence is now completely gone, because their names have been leaked into the mainstream. So I personally don't think that was a particularly nice thing to do. Now, I could be wrong. That might not be exactly what happened. There might be other things I'm not aware of, but this is going off what I've read so far.
One of the things that I see on anytime Anonymous is mentioned in news stories and blog posts, things like that, and the comments, what you quite often see is you've got a lot of people they see Anonymous in sort of different ways. And one of the detractors, one of the sort of themes that I've seen popping up on various sites is to try and paint Anonymous as, quote, an organisation, unquote. And it's to be trying to point out to people, look, this is a group of people who, many of them are it's a whole 4chan thing, many of them are just doing it for the lulz. They just do it because they can, because they want to have a laugh. And they say, oh, hey, a website, let's take down that website for a laugh. Let's embarrass this company, run this guy out of town for a laugh. There's a lot of that going on in Anonymous. There is no organisation. There is, I would imagine, it's like a mob, essentially, where there's a group of people who are more technically minded than the rest, and there's a lot of people who get on board for a laugh. When we say, right, okay, let's take down PayPal or let's take down Visa or whatever it is, and they might have some concept of the sort of the political connotations, like they might know what WikiLeaks is, I dare say quite a lot of them will. They might be a bit pissed off that major companies, the establishment, are essentially clamping